reading for you about somebody who has a tendency to kind of shapeshift or be a bit of a chameleon in relationships. And I also feel like because they don't have a true sense of themselves, they have a tendency to sabotage relationships. So we have the labyrinth card as well as the sabotaging relationships card. Among the confusion of the twisting turns and the endless chase, will I find myself in the heart of this maze? They get caught up in the excitement of chasing someone or being chased in a relationship context. But then, as things get to a point where it feels more comfortable or settled in, or I finally know this person, then they get uncomfortable. They start looking for the exit, right? Even though that's when most people would be like, oh, this is like actually love. It freaks them out. So they like a little bit of instability or perhaps a lot, and might also be seen as codependent or quite toxic in relationships. So let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedonestarot@gmail.com. You can find that in the description box, right close to where you can find out how to become a member and get access to additional content. And you can also find the link for my Etsy shop if you are interested in getting a homemade soy candle from me. All right, let's start with the Pulp Tarot and see what else we've got for you about this romantic saboteur. What else do we have about this person, please? What else? We have the Fool, the Queen of Cups in the reverse, and the Five of Wands in the reverse. So, what really needs to happen for this individual, and I suppose it could be you or someone you're dealing with, but I would imagine for the majority of you, this is someone that you are dealing with romantically. But the problem is they're always thinking about what they could be missing out on. So they have that FOMO energy and they don't really have the patience or like the stick with it to stay in a relationship. They seem to always be chasing something new, or they don't seem to be comfortable with that emotional connection where they have to be vulnerable and share who they really are. They may not even know who they are themselves, right? Because it says, will I find myself in the heart of this maze? Hey, want money? It ain't your business. Hello, boo. How are you doing? Let's see what else we've got for you. We have the Empress and the Three of Cups in the reverse. So we have someone who I think is pretty regularly talking to more than one person or often ends a relationship by getting caught talking to someone else. There's a lot of overlapping relationships here or overlapping flirting. Like I haven't really told this person I'm not interested in that anymore, but I'm already talking to two other people. They aren't known for monogamous relationships or like lengthy relationships. Hello, GHJ. How are you doing? Hello, Aaron. Ooh, pulled pork sandwich, one of my favorites. Do you like it with pickles? Feel like those are required. All right, what else do we have? The Two of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse with the Two of Wands. I definitely think this is the kind of person who talks to multiple people at the same time. They don't really have the ability to focus, or they're always expecting something to go wrong and they don't like being alone. So this is someone who has a backup plan in romance pretty much all the time. Hello, Leia. How are you doing today? I'm so sorry you're stressed out. You're saying, I can't leave him. Let's get some advice for you. I'm writing down your question for you right now. What to do. And we are about 5 minutes in, so in about 30 minutes, I will tackle that question for you. You are first on the list. Hello, Chinzilla. How are you doing? Pop rocks, huh? There you go, boo. I'm sending you a big ol' hug, Leia. If anyone's got some positive energy you can send towards Leia, please let her know in the live chat. I appreciate it. Hello, Jimmy. How's Canada doing? Fun fact for you. I had the most delightful time visiting the Edmonton Mall. They had like the submarine. Do they still have that thing? Did they like take it away? And they had like a roller coaster in there. We visited Banff Springs Hotel, which was gorgeous. I saw some moose. Is it meese? And I got to swim in a swimming pool amongst the mountains. It was gorgeous, just gorgeous. And then I think we were in a Smitty's. Is that like a restaurant up there, you guys? I ordered a big, tall chocolate milk and spilled it all over the ground. But oh well. I'm originally from Minnesota, but I am in Tennessee because I do love those mountains, and Minnesota didn't have any mountains, so at least not that I know of. Maybe up north they do. So we have the Nine of Wands and the Emperor with the Tower in the reverse. This feels to me like someone is... Oh, how do I say this? Someone is very protective, overly perhaps protective of their heart, and they expect everyone to break their heart. So they don't have any trust. I think this person's a bit jaded. And I think they're pretty accustomed to treating everybody the same way. You're just like everybody else, so I'm not going to even try to get close to you. I'm just going to see what I can do, what kind of fun I can have before I, move on to the next one. Go Vikings. Yes, school Vikings. Leia, it's probably because there is a lesson to be learned here, and it will be, I think, more appreciated if you really understand just how important that is. Sometimes we go through this heartbreak to better understand how to love and respect ourselves, right? We have the Two of Cups, the Three of Swords in the reverse, the World, and Temperance in the reverse. So this is somebody who is consistently getting into relationships with no intention of staying or being faithful. I hate to do it, but I'm going to draw a comparison here to Elizabeth Taylor. Rest in peace, Queen. She was gorgeous, but she did have that reputation for marrying quite a few people, right? Not really being super fixated on one person, and a lot of people being just quite taken with her, right? There is some instability because of the attractiveness of this individual, but also because they have unhealed wounds. So they might have grown up with some pretty poor examples in terms of their parents, or they might have even had some difficulties in terms of being able to trust their family members. There could be some really bad memories that they need to deal with, for example. But this inability to trust has left this person, what should we call them? The Empress. Does not have to be a woman, by the way. They also came out as the Emperor. But this is someone who puts forth a really I've got everything under control kind of personality. But the truth is, they really struggle in love. And I think there's a lot of celebrities out there that have that reputation. I can make a ton of money. I can make, any business that I start or, take over, I can make them more successful. But when it comes to love, I struggle. I don't know who I really am or what I really want. And as a result, there is this difficulty in being happy when it comes to romance. Yes, I agree with Erin. You deserve better. This is the Thoth Tarot. Let's see what else we've got for you. We have swiftness, the 8 of Wands, the 10 of Wands in the reverse, and the Ace of Swords. So I don't feel nervous if I don't owe anyone anything. And that's why I have to have kind of short romances, because once somebody starts having expectations or, wants to try to like control things, that's when I freak out. That's when I feel like I have to walk away or do something to distance myself from that person. Oh, you're not a joker. What else do we have? The Lovers, the Queen of Discs, which is the Queen of Pentacles, and the Devil in the reverse. So we've got someone who is very charitable, or they're successful and they like to make a difference with their money. But again, it's a sharp contrast. I can do, the things that I need as far as, my work or my creativity or connecting with others in a non-romantic way. But when it comes to romance, this person is clueless. So now it's making me think of Patty Stanger. She ran, and probably still does, a pretty impressive business, but struggled with love, even though her business is based on matchmaking, or was. And sometimes it's, a matter of I can help other people, but when I look at my own situation, that gets a little bit more complicated. This is the Blood Moon Tarot. What else do we have? Ace of Dreams, which is the Ace of Swords in the reverse, and the Knight of Skins or Knight of Wands in the reverse. This is someone who's very attractive, and I think part of the issue is it's difficult for the Empress to be able to like weed out which are the ones that are really just interested in me because of my money or because of, how I look, and is this, is it possible to find someone who really just loves me for me? But we have this 3 of Dreams or 3 of Swords, someone who feels like they just keep getting their heart broken, or someone who expects to always get their heart broken, so they sabotage those relationships. They assume the worst, or their kind of immature behavior might come out because they really haven't seen a relationship do well, or they might believe that they have like a little bit of a love curse. We have the Queen of Honey or Queen of Pentacles in the reverse, and the 3 of Wands in the reverse. Part of the issue is they don't believe that things can actually go well. This is someone who expects there always to be a problem. Maybe I've fallen in love, maybe I found someone who is amazing, but it's only a matter of time. There's going to be something that goes wrong. I just know it. They're a bit defeatist. They expect the negative outcome and therefore they manifest it. Because let's remember, they're successful. They've already been able to draw in a lot of happiness and success, and they may underestimate how powerful those thoughts that they have about love actually are. And I also feel like they have recently encountered someone who has good intentions, but because they tend to assume everyone is the same, I think they're using their same approach to love without realizing that they're risking a relationship that would actually make them very happy. Hello, spiritual healer. Hello, Mr. F. How you doing? I hope you're having a good day. What else do we have, please? Oh. 9 of Dreams or 9 of... hold on. I just had a forgetful moment. So that would be 9 of Dreams is 9 of Swords in the reverse. Wow, okay. And the Queen of Wands in the reverse clarifies the Knight of Wands. So we have someone who is assuming that people only really ever get involved with them because of their success, money, or their looks, naked time. This is limiting because when they actually do find somebody who is in love with them or who wants to be good to them, they don't take it seriously. They're just kind of like, I don't need to be like faithful to you because I don't expect you to be faithful to me. Five of Dreams or Five of Swords in the reverse, and the Six of Honey or Six of Pentacles in the reverse. So we have somebody who is playing games with or not really taking the time to do right by their partner, and they're breaking this person's heart. They're kind of careless with it, right? Like, I mean, it's been fun. I like getting to know you, but you're going to break my heart at some point anyways, right? So why should I take it seriously? Why should I assume that this has the chance to get to a serious relationship or that you would do right by me when everybody else has broken my heart or, broken their promises? But this is somebody who's actually serious. This Empress has encountered a King of Pentacles, someone who is actually interested in a long-term relationship and being a good partner. Strength in the reverse, and the Two of Honey. But instead of seeing this person's good character or understanding that they have like legit intentions towards them, the Empress assumes this is just another heartbreak in the making. And I think they start flirting with someone else, or that faithfulness doesn't seem to be a priority for them. This is the Love Oracle. Well, I'm glad it's without the games, Mr. F. What else do we have, please? Fantasy, daydreaming, imagining, and fantasize. So I know that people are just thinking about what they could potentially have with me, but they don't take it seriously. They think I'm, just like a little adventure for them, but they don't actually consider me to be the one. What if this Empress is actually running into their twin flame? They could also have this twin flame card coming out because you have someone who hasn't really healed from the twin flame dynamic that they've been a part of. But I think this is actually for everyone, not just for some, about an actual ability to have shared feelings. And somebody who is going to show this Empress that if you actually heal from the pain and heartache from your past, then you learn how to recognize and discern when you're actually dealing with somebody who would be a good partner romantically. I think this Empress was abandoned or not really a priority to family as a child. And never really feels like there's going to be someone who prioritizes them, that everyone will just take them for granted or looks at them for what they could potentially do, right? Oh, you can pay my bills? That's awesome. Oh, you're hot? That's cool. I like being able to walk into a restaurant and everybody's jealous of me. So there's this toxic reputation that they have. Like your relationships always end because you always expect them to end. And people don't believe that you're actually capable of being in love. Or maybe you've even been, talked about as a cheater. This Empress individual is struggling to separate from how other people view them and what they view themselves as and who they are truly meant to be. Let's get a few from the romance. Wait, is it romance Lenormand or romantic? I think it's romantic Lenormand. What else do we have, please? Hello, Betty. How are you doing today? That's fair, Mr. F, but let's make sure we leave room for somebody to surprise you and actually do right by you. So we have a Dark Night of the Soul, And this is for that King of Pentacles. So our Empress hasn't really learned how to approach others in a way that accommodates for them actually being a good person. I'm just waiting for you to betray me, is kind of their general approach. And then they encounter this King of Pentacles, probably somebody who doesn't need their money, right? But this King of Pentacles has been through a dark night of the soul, and as such, they have learned who they are. They have let go of the trauma or the frustrations that limited them in the past. They are a little bit of a lesson here for the Empress. Someone who actually speaks the truth and is a blessing to this Empress. But the Empress can't help but assume that the King of Pentacles is just like all the rest of them. It's only a matter of time before you disappoint me, or it's only a matter of time before, I find out that you were seeing someone else at the same time, or maybe you just wanted to date me because I have connections in the industry that you want to like break into. I think this Empress is about to get a little bit of a rude awakening, realizing that they did not approach this connection with the King of Pentacles the way they should have, because this person's actually pretty trustworthy. I'm glad to hear it, Mr. F. Striker, you're right. When that happens, it can confuse people. This is the Spellcaster's Tarot. Two of Cups in the reverse. And the Hierophant. Breaking up with someone who is absolutely relationship material. Somebody who is independent but excited to at some point be in a happy connection, partnership. Emperor in the reverse, Empress in the reverse. Oh my. So part of the interesting thing in this reading is we have that Emperor and Empress. That's the same person, right? This is why we don't get too focused on gender in the tarot. But we also have now the Empress and the Emperor coming out in the reverse. So this is someone who presents very well. The Empress is somebody who has been successful. They may even have some level of fame. They may have a very, top of the industry type of business. But because they have so much success, because they have probably amassed a bit of a fortune, or they have, a reputation, people think that they're very attractive. They have struggled to actually maintain that Empress Emperor level. They're seen as having their life together, but they struggle to understand how someone else could be a part of their life. They struggle to imagine how they could trust someone else. So that Emperor and Empress can also be talking about someone who feels like they always have to do everything themselves. Do you have space for someone else in your life? Do you want to, actually fall in love? Or do you just feel safe if you know you don't have to count on anybody and nobody's expecting anything from you? Hyper independence, I think, is the term. This is someone who may have had to take care of themselves from a young age, or someone who felt like they could never really trust the people that they worked with or the people who were interested in them. It's just like me versus the world, basically. Hello, Quake. How are you doing? Yes, I think that's a good way to put it, Striker. What else do we have? Six of Wands in the reverse. Queen of Swords and the Chariot in the reverse. So if I continue to assume the worst about people around me, it's impossible for me to have a successful relationship. If I refuse to be vulnerable or trust someone else, then how can I actually find something real? If I leapfrog from relationship to relationship, I'm not going to be able to find something that will stand the test of time. So the Seven of Swords is the assumption that everybody else is a liar, but now the Empress is having to face the fact that they have themselves misrepresented what their intentions were, or kind of like been willing to make it seem like they were being faithful when they really weren't, or that they really did want something happy in this relationship, but they actively work against it, right? They actively sabotage that relationship. I think we have this King of Pentacles and their good intentions finally getting this Empress to look at themselves in the mirror and acknowledge, I might be really smart or really talented at that thing, or I might be really successful at that. But when it comes to discernment of people in relationships, it seems like maybe I'm a little bit off. Hello, how's it going, Jamike? It happens. Thank you for liking the stream. I appreciate that. Hello, Priyanka. What's going on? Umesh, current energy. For you and your work. Awesome. I've added that for you. Thank you, Priyanka. Hello, Rachel. How's it going? Hello, Jason. So we have someone finally realizing maybe I need to be a little bit slower to judge people. Maybe I need to actually get to know someone, because it looks like I've been making some mischaracterizations, or maybe this person that I didn't think I should take seriously is actually the love of my life. And what if I walk away from that or miss out on the love of my life because I refuse to accept that there could be somebody lovable out there, or someone who thinks I'm lovable, right? Hello, Gab. I hope your day is going well. Current energy with Al. And future plans. Thank you for the tip. I have added that for you. Ooh, I did not write the name very well, though. There we go. It's better. It's better now. All right. This is the latest addition to the collection, the Tarot of Japanese Poetry. Thank you, Gab. Rachel, we are at about 28 minutes. What else do we have? Princess of Autumn. This would be the Princess of Pentacles. In this tarot deck, there's 5 levels instead of the usual 4, which is usually Page, Knight, Queen, King. We have Knave, Princess, Knight, Queen, King. So, Princess of Autumn, enjoyment, positivity, and natural beauty. 7 of Autumn, which would be the 7 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Winter. So I didn't think that you were actually as cool as you came across. I didn't think that I could actually trust you. You're far too attractive. What do you mean that you're also loyal? What? That never happens. Yes, it does. So we have someone who has broken their own heart by not wanting to believe that this King of Pentacles was sincere, or that this King of Pentacles had good intentions. And now they're realizing that they pushed someone away, or maybe even made them feel like second best in this romance, because they should have actually stopped and used their intuition, or gotten to know this person a little bit better. So we have the Knave or Page of Spring, which would be the Page of Cups, and the day before spring, but it's in the reverse. So the day before spring, I think that's about like new possibilities, thaw, revival, and the beginning of awakening. So Now I'm acknowledging that maybe I have a lot to learn. Now I'm realizing that my heart has been kind of frozen. I have ignored the reality of this King of Pentacles being a good person because it was easier for me to assume everyone was the same. Now this Empress is starting to look within and challenge those holdovers from the past that have made it impossible for them to approach a relationship with respect and like actually thinking that it might go somewhere. Now they're starting to miss this King of Pentacles. They're feeling foolish. There's so many like romantic comedies out there where somebody just like dates a ton of people and assumes everyone is bad, and then they learn that lesson when they lose the good one, right? You're the one that got away. Queen of Spring and the Queen of Autumn. So the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. Now I have to think about what I've done. Now I have to realize that I could have been with this King of Pentacles if I'd just given them a proper chance. But I was too quick to assume that they had bad intentions, and as a result, I have lost their affection. Or they have, moved on. So we have Death and the Ace of Summer, which is the Ace of Wands. Failure and a missed opportunity. Maybe I could have had a beautiful relationship with that person if I had just, actually looked at who they were. Hello, Martin. How are you doing? No problems, Rachel. Hello. How's it going, Carrie? Hello, Harsh. What's up? Hello, Marcia. How are you? Hello, Clay. So we have the Sun, the Star in the reverse, the Empress, and the Princess of Summer, which would be the Princess of Pentacles. No, Princess of Wands. So this is interesting. I think they are actually going through this awakening because of this missed opportunity in love. This King of Pentacles has woken the Empress. Like, it's time for you to acknowledge that there is actually true love out there, that even for people who might have a bunch of fans, maybe you're famous, maybe you've got certain status within the community, even for those that have a lot that could be envied or coveted, there are people who would treat you right. There are people who would want to be a good partner to you. So now they're looking at themselves and realizing, I need to actually be a little bit more forgiving and a little bit more understanding, because I could have been in love with this person, but instead I kept to myself. Instead, I, pushed this person away. So they might not be able to salvage things with this King of Pentacles, but they have at least learned a pretty important lesson that when you are out here dating, if you expect everybody to be the same, you're going to eventually run into somebody who's not, and you risk losing that loving relationship because you assume the worst or because you don't approach it the way that you should. All right, let's see what we've got for Leia. This is the Cat's Eye Tarot. Leia is concerned because leaving is hard to do. What is the recommendation or the advice for Leia, please, on what to do? 9 of Wands, 10 of Wands, the Hermit, 6 of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is a loyal friend or somebody that wants to be helpful. It could be someone who gives you, some really good advice. It could be somebody who says, hey, do you need a place to stay? You can crash on my couch. But I see there being a plan or an opportunity for you to get out, to move or to block this person and focus on your own healing and what you need for yourself. But it does require for you to actually admit to yourself, I have, too much to live for. I have too much to offer someone in a happy relationship to settle for this kind of connection. and then to put up your barriers, because this person doesn't deserve to be in a romance with you if they're going to treat you this way. We have the Fool, the Hierophant, and the Magician in the reverse. It does look to me like the longer you stay connected to this person, the greater the risk that you're going to miss out on the relationship you're supposed to be in. So maybe that's what ends up actually motivating you here. But there is this Hierophant individual, someone who would be very kind and caring, somebody who wants to be a good partner to you. And if you are caught up with this person, one right now, you miss out on this happy relationship. You've got to get focused on healing and starting a new chapter, or you miss out on the happy relationship you're supposed to be in favor of this Magician in the reverse, the person who's manipulative. Tell me more about this Hierophant, please. Knight of Cups, King of Wands. This person could be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. Very romantic, but they back it up. It's not just promises that are empty. They actually do want to be a good partner. They want to take care of you. But this is someone that you will miss out on if you get too stuck where you currently are. So the Queen of Pentacles, this is somebody who is able to help you. Talking to them helps you to identify a plan. We have the Queen of Wands in the reverse and the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. There's some insecurity here, assuming that you can't make change happen or assuming that you're just going to go crawling back. No. You have it within you to make this change happen. You have it within you to get through this difficult chapter in your life and find happiness. Once you start to believe in yourself in that way, things become a lot easier. It's also because you have someone who's actually in your corner, right? Somebody who wants to support you or help you to get to a better situation. It is. I agree, Striker. You're welcome, Carrie. So we've got the Hanged Kitty or the Hanged Man in the reverse. There's some stubbornness here, but you're able to shake off this perception, either of yourself or your partner or your ex. But the important thing is, I do see your mindset changing. Welcome back, Erin. No worries. I know. Aren't they just adorable? Look at this guy. He's like, don't you want to pet my belly? There are good things waiting for you, Leia. Let's see what we've got for Priyanka. This is the Earth and Bones Tarot. What are Umesh's current, or what is Umesh's current energy regarding Priyanka? How does Umesh currently feel towards Priyanka? 8 of Jars or 8 of Cups in the reverse. Knight of Jars or Knight of Cups. 8 of Petals or 8 of Pentacles, and the Page of Crystals or Page of Swords. This is someone who has charming, romantic, or like interested energy, impressed with your work. Someone who keeps coming back to think about you even though they try to focus elsewhere. And someone who's trying to think about how to communicate with you. What do they want to communicate? They want to ask you out. Again, this person sees you as a temptation. They want to spend some money on you. But with the Ten of Swords in the reverse, it's like they're looking at you as somebody that can help them forget something that was painful. So you're like a pleasant distraction, but they need to be taking that more seriously if they actually want something with you, right? And how does Umesh look at Priyanka's work? 9 of Crystals or 9 of Swords. The Hanged Man and the 4 of Jars or 4 of Cups in the reverse. This person is curious and intrigued. They feel like they learn things from you. but they also have this anxiety around you. I think because there is this desire to be able to be professional, but they still have this attraction to you. And with the Hanged Man, this person feels like you've been able to show them a different perspective. So you have a unique perspective on this business from their point of view. We have the Queen of Jars and the Eight of Cups, or sorry, Eight of Wands in the reverse. They have admiration for you, but a lot of it is also like physical attraction. And for Gab, what is the current energy with Al, please? Hello, CJ. How are you doing? Aw, that's sweet, Erin. Hello, Ricardo. How are you doing? What is the current energy with Al for Gab, please? Chariot in the reverse, the Magician, the High Priestess, 10 of Potions, which is the 10 of Cups, and the 10 of Presents. This is like, I love you, but I don't know how to like actually stay in love with you, or I don't know how to do the long term, or I care about you deeply, but I don't know if I can continue to have you in my life. Who's the High Priestess? Is this Al? So Al views you as the High Priestess, somebody that is unpredictable and somebody that they don't fully understand. Al is the Magician. Why the Magician? There are regrets that Al is dealing with. What are the future plans from Al? Six of Pentacles or Six of Presents and the Hermit in the reverse. Like, I need a little bit of time to think about things, but once I figure out what to say or how I feel, then I know that we need to like have a conversation. So this is somebody who's expecting that you will be able to overcome whatever this difficulty is. But I also think there's an awareness that like I can't be repeating the same energy. There needs to be some change. So does this mean that Al is going through like dark night of the soul? Yes. This is someone who's learning quite a lot about why things didn't work out and what their responsibilities are in terms of working through that and being able to build a better, like stronger connection with you going forward. That's their goal anyway. Hello, Joaquin. How are you doing? Glad to hear it. All right, y'all. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for the likes and the subscribes, and thank you for hyping if you're able to. I'll see you in the